Yo. First things first, if we go ahead, I'm going to come over here, because I actually, believe it or not, the first thing I'm going to open this up with is I actually have managed to clear off the workbench enough to where I actually have space to work. You know, it's a workbench. But anyway, if there's audio dropouts in what I believe is the right channel, one of them is definitely quieter than the other. I think it's the right channel. I always get confused by that because it's not left and right, it's up and down in OBS, which is really kind of stupid. I don't know why they do that. But there's an issue with either my cable or my camera or something. I don't actually know. Whatever the case may be, there might be dropouts, there might be static, there might be something in one of the channels, and if it's annoying, I might have to change to a different mic halfway through the stream and probably break everything. Just so you know, I didn't have time to try and fix it. So, you can hear me. It might only be in one channel, but you can hear me, and that's all that really matters. So, here is the subject right in front of you. Yet another computer stream, I know, but there's not really much else that I can do that I can stream. You know, I don't know, what else could I do, really? Other than do this, or sit in front of a camera and talk for, you know, hours on end, and I'm not going to do that. So, nobody, even I don't like to hear my own lips flap that much. It might seem like I do, but I don't. So, this thing, at some point recently, I don't know if no, I probably didn't. Although if I did, it was probably on the last live stream. I know the videos are not uploaded yet, but in the process, how do I want to put this? So it started with my wanting the hard drive out of this for another machine because it's a standard height drive, standard half height for this thing. So I pulled it out, replaced it with another drive, and all was well. And then I had another drive in a completely separate machine fail while I was working on it, and I had to take the drive out of this and put it in that, and put the half height drive back in this. Well, it just so happens that I forgot that I have this, because it was buried in the mess that was my workbench. It is a 1.3 gigabyte Toshiba hard drive, and is just the right height that I can use it in this. So I'm going to put it in this. I'm going to install Windows NT Workstation 4.0 and all the drivers, and hopefully everything will work. It's a beautiful day out. I could be outside doing something, but it's Corona time, and on top of that, I don't really have anything outside to do, so we're doing this on your Sunday afternoon. At least it's Sunday afternoon here. I got a floppy drive out. I don't know if I'm going to need it. I don't know if I will even be able to boot with that floppy drive. I've got the network hooked up. It's a 3-com Etherlink 3. I'm going to have to unplug that, though, because the first thing I need to do is close it. And I'm going to flip it around so that way I can remove the drive. I'm going to have to find screws. I have the door for this, but I don't have the screws. I'm going to have to find screws for that at some point. Probably not now. I don't really feel like wasting your time with that at this juncture. This never does want to come off. You almost have to, like, violently rip it off. But it reveals the drive, which is in here, which, of course, you know, definitely has got screws in it. I want to be careful with that because that's not exactly a robust drive. It's an IBM TravelStar. This is not even helpful. This little adapter here, this is for a 10100 card. It will not work for the 10 megabit cards, like the one that I've got installed. Alright. So we're just going to get right into it. I'm not going to waste any time. So I guess to all the folks that are just tuning in now, you'll probably have no idea what I'm doing. You'll miss out on a lot. The one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change the way that these live streams work, in that the archives are unlisted. because I think that it drags down the performance and screws around with some of the other metrics on the channel to have them public. And I don't think it really matters to have them public anyway, because it doesn't change the fact that it's already uploaded. I don't know what I'm trying to say there, but they're unlisted now. There's a playlist for the live streams. I guess if you want to watch any of these live stream archives at some point, there's a playlist. It's sorted. It should be sorted newest to oldest. I don't know whether that sorting actually worked, because they changed the way that you do playlist stuff. And I don't like the new way of doing things. I really don't like it. I don't like the YouTube Studio. I don't like all of the other stuff that they've made us do now. Because it just feels so bureaucratic. And I'm not a fan of that. So we could pull this out. Here is, of course, the existing drive, which I'm going to just set aside for now. Somewhere. You know, I was just finished saying I have all this workbench space, but I really don't. I didn't clean it. I cleared it. There is a difference, because if it were clean, you know, there'd basically be nothing on it. So I'm going to try and do this on camera. It's pretty easy. There's a Red Hat Linux install on this. I don't really care about it. I mean, it's not like it's that important to anybody. So I think we could probably do without that. Now, getting this into place might be entertaining, because I have the thing at the back I gotta worry about. But I think I managed to get it. Now I gotta put the screws back in. It's the only thing I need the screwdriver for. You know, it'd be really nice if machines were this toolless still. I guess they kind of are, but they're also kind of not even repairable by the end user either. So, well, that doesn't really work. What's up with that? I don't want to strip the screws. What if there's something wrong with that screw hole? Could it be? It could be. The other thing about having a clean workbench is that the keyboard is accessible, so I should, if I ever need to, be able to chat with y'all. Not that my chat rooms are ever really busy. But I kind of like that, because it means that you can actually read what's going on. I don't have to turn on, like, slow mode or something. I would like to have that, please. Doesn't want to behave, does it? Doesn't want to behave. Alright. So I had sense a sneeze coming on, which is great. So which screw was that? Was that this one? Yeah, that's this one. What's up with this? Can I have that back? Like, is that a thing that you can do for me? There we go. Cross-threaded. Ah, yeah. It's still not really going in there nicely, but that's better than nothing. Now, which way does this go in? Because there is a specific way to do this. It goes in like this. If I can get it in. Alright, so there's your drive. That's the easy part. Now, I'm hopeful that I'm not going to have to erase this drive in any way, but I'm probably going to, because I'd imagine there's junk in the master boot record that's going to mess around with it. We'll flip it right side up. I'll find the power cord. Plug it in. Open her up. Obviously, as you can tell, the battery is no good. Doesn't even charge. We'll power it up, and I'm actually going to just boot it right into Linux. Is it working? Oh, it is working. Okay. That did not sound very good. So I bet this is going to go real well. Yeah, Red Hat Linux. Red Hat Linux. Loading driver failed. Well, that's fine. It's a completely different system. This was in the Portage 300 CT, which now has a I think that's got the CF card adapter in it now. Hardware detection tool. Normal boot up will continue in whatever. Press any key to continue. What if I don't want that? I don't want to waste my time, you know? It is a really nice day out. Some of you might know that I picked up a free eMachines computer recently. Beep. That's loud. Free eMachines, never obsolete system. So there'll be a video about that eventually. I sold the monitor that it came with today for it was supposed to be for $5. I posted it 3 days ago, and I anticipated that nobody would want it. Because, I mean, you know, it's a generic CRT monitor from 2000, I think. February of 2000. And normally people don't really care for that, or at least I don't think that people would care for that. Because it's a CRT. Who wants a CRT? Especially a generic piece of junk 15-inch job that's got a dim picture. But I posted it 3 days ago, and it was a magnet for people to answer. I had 7 people. And of those, only one of them actually followed through with going to pick it up. He picked it up today. It was supposed to be sold for $5, and he handed me a $10 bill. It was like, keep the change. So I guess I just made $10 on a CRT. Now, let's see here. I guess it wants me to log in. Does it actually have an X Windows system? Would it run? I know it does. Yeah, it doesn't really work. Alright. So, whatever. I'm going to take the Windows NT disk and insert it. Because I don't really care. Yeah, it's trying to load the Chips and Technologies driver, which this doesn't have. This is a Neo Magic. And I'm not really in the mood to deal with that. So we'll just close it. And start with Windows NT. That's really annoying when it does that. It makes me think that something's wrong. But I'm going to plug the Ethernet back in. Please boot to the CD. Of course it's not going to boot to the CD. Oh, let's see, because floppy. Well, you know what? Here's what we're going to do. going to come back here. I'm going to fire up the floppy, my floppy writing computer. I don't know if I've got it on the right port, the KVM switch, but it should. Yeah, there we go. And, oh wow, you can't even read that. I'm sorry. The sunlight is interfering with the camera. It's a beautiful day. I want the window open so I can enjoy, you know, what little sunlight we actually get around here, because the next week it's supposed to be crap. Like, really bad. Really bad. The weather's supposed to suck. It's supposed to be warm and rainy and gross. So, let's see. This wasn't originally supposed to be part of this, but I'm making it part of it, because this thing seems to want to boot to a floppy by default. So if it wants to do that, then we can do that. Put in my boot manager. Find the mouse for this computer. I hear grumbling. I don't know if that's coming from the other room or icicles falling off of the roof. This is terribly exciting, I'm sure. I guess while we're waiting for this, one of the things that I did recently is I changed the power supply in my capture PC, which is being used to stream this. And one of the other things I wanted to do at the same time is, I'll respond to that in a second, but one of the things I wanted to do was change it to Ethernet, because the Wi-Fi is, well, I'd rather not use it for streaming, we'll just put it that way. But I can't, because, believe it or not, I do not have a single PCI Express Ethernet card. And the motherboard that's in the machine, which is a DQ67SW from Intel, only has one PCI slot. And guess what? The PCI slot is filled with the capture card. So, I guess that's not going to happen. So we're stuck with Wi-Fi until I get a PCI Express Ethernet card, which is really annoying. Now, as for the comment over there about a BIOS setting, these Toshibas are weird in that there are only select options that you get for what you can choose to boot from. And if you want to boot to the CD-ROM first, you have to put the hard drive last, which means it also needs to boot to the LAN, and every time it does that, it breaks for some reason. I don't know why. I guess because the LAN card doesn't support booting and the computer can't handle that. So I want what? It's not even on the machine, is it? No. I need my boot manager, plop boot, P-L-O-P. Yes, it's really called that. I also need this floppy drive. So I should probably plug this floppy drive into the computer. And besides, I don't need to mess with the boot order if I do this. So, let's see. Can I plug that in, please? Is that, like, something you'll let me do? Is this compatible? This might be a waste of time. It should be. Maybe I'm just plugging it in backwards. Yeah, there we go. It's just upside down. Okay. Come on. You know, sometimes I really wonder about the cables that are here. Alright. Plug the Ethernet back in. I really need to change that Ethernet cable to one that's got the clip. So there's that. I picked up a camera. So there will be another camcorder video at some point. There'll be plenty. I've got a lot of camcorders that still need videos, but most of them are recorded. I have a new one that's sitting on the floor right now that I paid entirely way too much money for. It's just way too much. It's not even worth probably 1/10 of that. I paid $10. The sticker on the side is for $15. But, they know me, so they're willing to cut me a deal. But they weren't willing to cut me a deal lower than $10. I guess because they need the money because of, COVID and all that. Which I get that. I understand where that's coming from. But, I mean, it's probably only worth $1. Because it really is. I'll show it in a second after I'm finished doing what I'm doing. Can I find the image? Because that's kind of what I want. I don't want the ISO. I want the image. I should have a image. Yeah, right there. Take that, put that onto the machine. Did it work? Oh, now it's not responding. Can you, do your job, please? Paste. Compare info. Skip. Alright, I guess it's already there. I don't know. I don't know what that was all about. Ouch. Okay. That was not cool. Alright. So, that computer had a printer with it. I'm not sure. Oh, I know what I wanted to do. I wanted to check. What's on this floppy? What is this? Disk and drive A is not formatted. Hopefully I'm not going to overwrite something that's important. No, I'm going to just grab a different disk. Because I don't remember which set of disks is my Mac OS install disks and which set is not. So, I don't know. Here's a Sony disk. Let's see what's on this. Just some random disk. Alright. Put that in. Because I kind of need that, yeah, that looks like that's empty. I need the Mac OS setup disks for the PowerBooks. So we'll watch this happen. In real time, this is something I'd edit out normally. But yeah, no, I thought that was really stupid, that it's only got one PCI slot. I don't really understand what this whole crusade against legacy I/O is, when you consider that a lot of motherboards today still have a PS2 port. For a while they were getting rid of those, and then all of a sudden they brought them back. So what does that tell you? Seriously, I get the removal of the serial port and the parallel port, because those have both pretty much been taken over by USB anyway. I can kind of get the removal of IDE and the floppy port on modern motherboards, because nobody really uses floppy drives anymore. I mean, I do. I would like to have a floppy drive on all my machines, but I think I'm in the minority when I say that. So, okay, fair enough. And nobody uses IDE anymore because nobody wants the big bulky ribbon cables in their computers. And again, even I'm like that. I really don't. If I were given the choice, I'd like to have SATA, but that is what it is. But the removal of PCI, for the most part, is kind of dumb. It's about as dumb as the removal of analog video signals from video cards. And I'm not talking about the removal of the VGA port. That's annoying enough. But at the very least, most of those you can get away with by using an adapter, a DVI to VGA adapter. I've got several of them. They're right here. They look like this, if you've never seen one. I'm assuming that everybody here is technologically inclined enough to have seen one before. But you can't even do that anymore because they removed the DVI-I. It's now all DVI-D. What the hell? What was the point of that? single stupidest thing ever. There was no reason to get rid of the analog video signal. It cost them what? Nothing? Nothing. It cost them nothing to include that. It doesn't impede anybody in any way. It's not impeding, you know... I don't get it. I don't get it at all. So anyway, now that that's done, I had my rant. So, no Ethernet on the capture PC. And yes, I know it's got onboard. Everything's got onboard now. The onboard doesn't work. So otherwise I'd be using it. So this should be okay. Hopefully. I can power it up. Should read the floppy. Assuming that floppy drive works. Does it work? It's making unhappy noises. Come on. Never trust technology to do your job for you. Do I have the other one in here? I don't think so. No, I don't have the other one available. What's wrong with you? No, you're not doing that. So, okay, fine. If that's the game you want to play. Then I'll change it. I'll just have to remember to change it back so it doesn't try to boot to the LAN. Pull it out. Just pull it right out. Alright. Here we go. Windows NT setup. Yay! If you're just tuning in now, I've gone ahead and changed the hard drive in this. So now I've got to prepare Windows. Get Windows reinstalled on the new drive. Seems like that'd be faster than cloning the old one. I've never been able to get that to actually work. But I changed the power supply in the computer. Picked up a free, what was it, Thermaltake? 450 watt power supply. Normally I don't care for Thermaltake because we have them at work and they seem to die fairly frequently. And it's always the same symptom. The 5 volt standby goes to 0 and you can't use the power supply anymore. Unless you replace the caps, because it's always a capacitor failure. Trying to clean my glasses here, because I can't see. And seeing is pretty important. Seeing is extremely important, in fact. Did it send me yeah, it did. It sent me an email to tell me that I'm live on my own channel. I don't know why they do that. Does somebody have an explanation for why YouTube does that? Like, is it some kind of... Alright, cool. Obviously, I'm going to read that very carefully. Everything there looks okay. I want to delete, yes. L. I'm going to delete all this crap. Delete L. Install. Format NTFS, and here comes another long wait while it formats this drive. So I don't know if that floppy drive is just no good or what's up with that, but it's kind of annoying, really. So, let's see. What else is worth mentioning? There'll probably be a video of the SLI machine. The reason why I wanted to change the power supply in the encoder, or the capture PC, is because the power supply that's in it is grossly overkill, but it'll work perfect for the SLI rig. And the reason why I want to do that is because the SLI rig has been obscenely unstable. I've changed the RAM, I've changed the hard drive. The only things that I could think of left are the motherboard, or the video cards, or the power supply. I've seen some power supplies do some pretty goofy things. So I'm going to change the power supply and rule that out. I don't know what power supply is in it right now. I think it's an Antec 500 watt something or another. And I have an identical one. That's what came out of the capture PC. I'm going to try that, see what happens. And if that works, then cool, I figured something out. And I'll have to figure out why that other power supply is iffy. If not, then, I don't know. There's a machine downstairs. There's a Haswell system downstairs. It doesn't belong to me, but it's got an SLI compatible motherboard in it. And I am tempted, since it doesn't look like anybody's going to do anything with it, I'm tempted to borrow it and see what happens. But I really kind of think, to be honest about it, that the problem is the G86, G84 silicon-based video cards that are in that. They're NVIDIA GeForce 8600 GTS cards. They're nothing to write home about. And they've been in 24/7 use since they were brand new. So they're probably pretty worn out. On the other hand, that probably means they're among the better ones. You know, the ones that actually still happen to work. Because the G84 and G86 were just known for blowing up. But, I don't know. So it's possible that one of those is bad, but I'd expect that if one of those was bad, that I'd get video corruption. And I don't get video corruption, it just deadlocks. And I have to reset it. So, I don't know what's up with that. It's really strange. Probably a motherboard issue. It's an Asus motherboard, so I'm not really surprised. It's kind of a piece of junk, too. It's only got SATA 1.5. It's a really old board. It's still got the old, some of you might remember the SLI selector, the little, it looks like a DIMM, a SODIMM, that changes between single and dual video card operation. The newer boards got rid of that in favor of doing it in software, which is a much better way of doing it. You know, it actually tended to work. But Asus boards have never been too kind to me. Which is funny, I've got so many of them sitting around. Macintosh Classic 2. Cool. I'd like to get myself one of those, but I don't think... I think finding an unmolested example of a Classic 2 for a decent price is not going to happen. So you just have to get lucky and find one. I guess that'll just have to be the way it goes. I don't really have any space for one either. I've got the compact portable, which, to me at least, because I was never really a Macintosh guy, I was always a PC guy, that one's more interesting. I probably should take that out and work on it. Probably pull it apart and replace the CMOS battery. It's probably a Dallas chip, which means I'm going to have to order a Dallas chip. I should order them in anyway, because I have a couple machines that need Dallas modules. But I've got so many projects, so many things to work on. Desktops, laptops, machines I've forgotten about. Does anybody remember the Zenith Z-Note Flex? I need to deal with that. I've got a MicroStar laptop I've never even worked on once. I'd like to do some more stuff with the Fora 286 laptop, because it's just kind of sitting in there lonely, not doing anything. And I'd really like to use it, because it's a nice piece of gear. And, you know, using things tends to wear them out, these older pieces of hardware, but not using them can also be just as bad. So, you gotta find that sweet spot. Because it's like if you use camcorders, older cameras, to death, you'll wear out the capacitors. If you let them sit, you'll wear out the capacitors. So, but of course, that's an extreme case. Those caps were not really good quality. So they leaked prematurely and dried out. And I mean, there is also the fact that, you know, they're 20, 30 years old. You know, that is a thing too, which is kind of scary to think about. The 90s were 20 years ago. Actually, yeah, 20 years. No, 30 years. 91 was 30 years ago. Huh. Well, that's kind of sobering. I mean, I'm not that old, but that's still kind of scary to think about. Oh dear. Alright, well, in any event, we're still waiting for this thing to format. I need to get my, my Zenith 486 desktop working. I don't know if I really care that much. It's not worth anything. It's just a generic 486, really. It just happens to have a Zenith badge on it. I care more about the Wang 386 that I still need to do some work with. Okay. Installed there, that sounds good. Do I want an exhaustive secondary examination? Let's select no on that, because I don't really care. This isn't a special machine or anything like that. So I'll just assume that the drive is good. Like a good person. And then when this reboots, I'm going to go back and change the boot order back to where it was. And hopefully it will boot to the hard drive, but I suspect we'll probably get a grub boot menu, which will not be cool. I don't even know how I'll really deal with that. Do I have my Ultimate Boot CD sitting around somewhere? I should have got that ready to go, too. Thinking about it. That's Windows 95. Those are DVDs. Windows 98. Second edition. There's a disc. I don't know what that is. Let's see here. Can I at least see what's in this pile of stuff? Windows 2000, DVD, Windows 7. Oh, there's HDAT2. Probably just use that if I need to use anything. What other forgotten computers do I have? The Athlon XP, the Thunderbird, 1300 Thunderbird system. That needs to have hard drives put back in it. I still have the Northern Micro Spirit. Remove compact discs. Okay, fair enough. I want to go into Setup and change this back so it doesn't try and boot to the LAN, because that's not going to work. So let's see what it boots to. Probably a grub boot menu, right? Or a Lilo boot menu, yeah. Somehow I'm not surprised. Oops. Don't you just love computers? Control-Alt-Delete. So I think I'm going to have to start this all over again. Yeah. Fun times were had by everybody. Will this even boot on this? Change back to CD-ROM, yes. The Focus is going nuts. I'm sorry, there's not a whole lot I can do about that right now. Come on. I'd rather focus on the lens dust, I guess. I just want to erase enough of the drive. Alright, HDAT2. Let's just type HDAT2. Will it load on this old hardware? I don't see why not. It's trying. Oh, come on, really? This is not cool. General protection fault, okay. HDAT2X. Let's try that. But I don't think that's going to work either, because that's for dealing with page faults. Not general protection faults. Oh dear. Well, I can tell this isn't going to go well. Should have erased the drive before starting, you know? Would have been smart. Oh, come on, you piece of junk. It still didn't run. Let's see if we can go to the older version. Let's try HDAT2 from there. There we go, that's better. Beep. Alright, drive level tests. Wipe drive. I don't care. Go. I don't have to erase much. Probably the first... I'm going to say the first 100 megabytes. I'm going to erase. And then we're going to have to install again. Fun times, right? Yeah. Oh, what a mess. I'm going to have to start all over. How long has this been going for? We have a tally. 46 minutes. 47 minutes. I think the first 100 megabytes should be good enough to get rid of the bootloader, right? It's really loud. I pull that out, and I Control-Alt-Delete. Is it going to try to boot to the LAN? I know I changed the LAN card. Yeah, I changed the LAN. It might not now. Because the Zircon card that was in here before would try and boot and lock up. Give it a try. Maybe I can just leave it. Although the CMOS battery's bad, so it's kind of a waste. I should probably be preparing myself to use this Windows 95. A boot manager. Oh man, fun times were had by everybody. I apologize for the boringness of this, but there's really not much that I can do. This is just what you see is what you get. Anything else interesting to talk about? I don't know. Let's see. So there's the e-machines that I got that, never obsolete, which is great. But it came with a printer. I'll have to deal with that. I don't know if I'm going to keep that. I hate printers, but it might be worth experimenting with. The familiar printer, for those that have been on this channel for a long time. Somewhat familiar. It's not the same, but it's close enough. What else? Windows 95 install from floppy, and Windows 98 install from floppy, because I am just that daring. Hard disk is new or has been erased. Perfect. Press C to continue. F8. The above list matches my computer. Install to that, and TFS. And now we have to wait for it to format again. But, Windows 98 from floppy, which will be the longest video I've ever uploaded to my channel, because I didn't edit it, because I didn't feel like it. I wanted to give you the full experience. So I envision nobody will watch that video. Oh well. I have a digital camera sitting over here. Oh, I was going to show you the camera I got, wasn't I? I keep forgetting about it. Because it's just so generic that, I don't actually know. I don't know if this is based... Now, there you can see the price tag. I did not pay that. I would never have paid that. And even what I did pay, which is a fraction of this, is still too much for a VHS-C camera. It is high quality, though, so that's neat. It's pretty new. If we take a look. 1996, so it's about my age. A little bit older than me. Not much, but a little bit. And I haven't checked to see if it works. I know it will give you a picture, but I had issues with the tape basket, so I'll have to play around with that a little bit more. But this is probably one of the most basic cameras I've ever seen in my life. It's got a 10 times power zoom lens, but the power zoom doesn't work, so I guess it has 0 times zoom. It's just weird. It's Memorex, so maybe nobody should be surprised by just how much of a low-end piece of crap it is. It even feels like a low-end piece of crap. But I've watched some of the videotape that it came with, which is now missing because I can't find things. Came with this. I've watched some of it, and the picture quality, really, for a VHS-C camera, isn't terrible. I haven't been able to determine whether or not they recorded with SP or SLP mode. A lot of people recorded in SLP, and then were probably disgusted by how bad the audio sounded, because those are linear audio cameras. Sorry, linear audio recorders. I don't think they ever made a hi-fi VHS-C camera. They probably did. I'm sure they exist. And note that hi-fi is not the same as HQ. They're different. Hi-fi is helical audio heads. Helical scan audio. They have it on the same thing as the video heads on the head drum. And it spins around and gives you better quality, particularly in extended play, or SLP as most of these cameras call it. But every single one I've ever seen, including the ones that are supposed to be high-end, they're all linear audio. All of the SVHS-C ones are linear audio. So when you put them into SLP mode, the audio quality is just kind of bad. So some of my older videos you can probably tell. And the thunderstorm videos, I tend to put the camera in SLP mode. Because, you can tell what's going on. You don't need superbly high quality video for a high quality audio for a thunderstorm video. So that's what I do. Which, speaking of, we're supposed to get some tonight. I don't think I'm going to go all out with recording, thunderstorm footage, but I am probably going to get a couple of cameras ready, probably the cell phones, the iPods and cell phones and all that stuff, and at least get those. I don't think anything will happen. It's still February, so we've had thunderstorms in February before, not very often, but, it is 2021, so anything can happen. What else? Driving videos. I have gone out a couple more times, got some more driving footage, captured some more idiots, but I don't think it's really enough to make a video out of it. I'll have to go back and look. Because stay-at-home means that a stay-at-home meant that a lot of people weren't out. So the people that were out were not the morons. And even now, there's a lot of people that aren't out. And I tend to go out in the middle of the day on weekdays. So there aren't a lot of people out on the road because they're all either working from home or in the office at that point. Which is really nice because it means that there's no traffic congestion. So I hope this thing is going to boot. It's going to write the boot code properly. The last time I did this, it did not. So hopefully it will do it this time. 6 likes. Can we make it to 10 likes on this stream? Oh, man. Probably not. This isn't a popular channel. If it were a popular channel, I'd probably be already up at 100 likes, but I don't really want a popular channel, to be honest. It tends to attract some of the riffraff, which is really sad, As soon as I've noticed it on any of the videos I have that have gotten even modestly popular. The stream's still working. I noticed my viewer count dropped dramatically. No, it's still working. Okay. Every once in a while, the Wi-Fi link will drop. And it hasn't done it yet today. But it's usually after I've gone for about an hour, it starts to get unreliable. Maybe because the wireless card overheats. Even though it's got a heatsink on it, it still overheats. Why do Wi-Fi cards need heat sinks? That's stupid. Anyway, I guess it's some new 802.11 AC thing. I didn't notice wireless cards with heat sinks until 802.11 AC was a thing. So, whatever. Is this thing working? Or did it lock up at 84? Oh, the computer locked up. Awesome. So I don't know if I can even go further because I think the computer, speaking of overheating, when it gets hot, it stops working. So let's start again. Oh, this was going so well. I had to not erase the drive before starting this. I knew I should have erased the drive. I knew it. I called it. I said, you need to erase the drive, dude, before doing this, because the bootloader will still be there from Linux. I said, no, I'm not going to waste my time. It should be fine. It's probably installed to a partition, because a lot of the older Linuxes did that, and sure enough, should have trusted my gut. Oh well. SCSI 2 SD. I don't understand why they charge so much money for those. You know, it's a PCB with a couple chips on it. Probably cost them about $5 to make. So the rest of that's markup. Probably shipping too. But, you know, they're maybe worth $10. And yet the manufacturers feel the need to charge almost $100 for them. Strange. We'll never understand the greed of some hardware manufacturers. Which is another reason why I haven't bought one. I don't think they have the PowerBook modules. I think they ran out of those, and I don't know if they're even going to make any more. I don't know if they're still in business. Maybe COVID put them out of business. I'd imagine not, because it's a pretty popular thing. It's a niche market, but a lot of people want those. That matches my computer, unformatted or damaged. We will continue to use that, format NTFS, and we'll keep going. Yeah, there'll be PowerBook videos, there'll be other laptop vids, there'll be all kinds of stuff coming up. A lot of computer videos. A lot of computer. In fact, most of my uploads are computer videos. I had to go in and rejuggle everything so I could get more non-computer videos uploaded faster. Because this isn't a computer channel, despite what it might look like. I do all these streams of computers and upload all these computer videos, and people ask me, I thought you uploaded more than computers. Yes, I do. I just don't have anything that's worthwhile making a video of at this point. It's all been done. Gotta find some new stuff. Of course, thrift stores being closed has not helped, because that's where I get most of my stuff from. Can I close that door, please? That would be nice. Thank you. Close these. I need that one to still be open. I have a PowerBook 100 I need to replace the capacitors on. Should probably order those. Discord. No, I have no interest in Discord. I hold a Discord account. I'm not going to give it up to just about anybody, because I don't use it. I can't even remember the last time I signed in to it. I have no interest in that kind of stuff. The Stereo Dust Particles forum is about the closest thing that you'll ever find to that. And the various, low-end radio live streams that I still do on a regular basis. That's pretty much it. And then there's the comments. I don't sign into that enough to make it worthwhile. And I don't think there'd be enough people that would use it to make it worthwhile. The bigger channels, the huge ones, probably they all have one. But I'm not popular enough that I think it would be used. The last Discord channel I was a part of pretty much died almost exactly the day after it was made. Nobody uses it. So, I don't know. It's not something that interests me. It's the same deal with Patreon. People ask me, you should start a Patreon, you should take donations, you should do this. I don't want that. Because I don't think that it's something, would donations be cool? Yeah, probably. Take that money and invest it into things to make videos of. But I don't know. I don't want to deal with the overhead of that. It's just yet another thing to manage that I don't think is something that I can do. I don't have the time for that. And I'm going to spare you my negative opinions of Patreon, so we'll leave it at that. We'll leave it at that. Because there's a lot of things that I could say about that that'll probably get me in hot water. So if you've got one, great, good for you, but I don't want one. And I probably never will have one. So, what would I even do with that? Like, let's get real here. What would I be able to offer that I can't already offer on the channel? I don't like the idea of, I don't want to put it, early access. I don't like that. I don't like the idea of exclusive content in any way, because I think that's stupid. Because all it does is just make you wonder, what you're missing out on, which I guess is kind of the whole point. It's a marketing thing, but I don't like it. I think it's dumb and stupid and ridiculous. So where does that leave us? What could you do? The only thing that I can really do with something like that, I guess, is early access. And how would I do that? I've got millions of videos that are still waiting to be uploaded. How am I gonna? It's another thing to manage that I don't want to manage. That's the be-all and end-all of that. And I just think I just found a IDE, a SATA adapter. I was looking for one the other day. Yeah, I sure did. Couldn't find one. The only ones I could find were the ones that were for dual and the Molex splitter, and of course. Anyway, whatever. I should put them away so they're not sitting on the floor. That's probably why they get lost. Because they end up on my floor. Everything always ends up on the floor. Oh, it got past 84% this time. I think there's something wrong with the solder joints on the RAM slots on this machine. Or some other broken solder in some way, because it behaves strangely. It's a Toshiba Tecra 8000. I never actually mentioned what the specs were. I don't know. I don't think anybody's asked. Don't know if anybody cares. But, Pentium 2, you might be able to see. It's Pentium 2. I think it's a 366. I'm pretty sure it's a 366. A Pentium 2 366, 256 megs of RAM, which is PC 133, SODIMMs. I hate Twitter. I hold one. I think it's linked on the YouTube channel. The only reason why I hold one is because there's somebody whose feed I want to watch and look at, and they have it set to private. That's the only reason why I really have one. I use it every once in a while. But, again, I'm not popular on there. I don't want to be. I don't really care. It's another thing to manage that I don't really need. It's just, it's a neat thing to use every once in a while. Alright. It's not face crack. That's about the only good thing I can say about it. Spare you my negative opinions about Facebook, too. At least I'll try to. I don't know if it'll actually happen. I got a lot of negative things to say about Facebook. I think everybody does, but yet everybody still uses it. It's like that toxic girlfriend you keep going back to. No matter how many times you say we're through, you just keep going back. I don't understand why. But the thing that really kind of makes the Twitter experience better for me is I blocked out the trends box. So I don't have that to distract me. Because once you start looking at the trends box, that's when you see all the crazy people, and all the morons, and all the idiots of society that should not be allowed to have a computer and an internet connection, but they do anyway because, cell phones. Whatever. It's really fast. This is a really fast process. Imagine if I was doing this from floppy. Whatever happened to MySpace? I thought they were bringing MySpace back. There was a deal with Justin Timberlake or something. So, I bet this isn't going to boot. I won't be surprised when it doesn't. Oh, it did. Sweet. The last time I did that, it didn't write the bootloader to the master boot record. I don't know, I want them to bring back BBSs, but there are still a few of them out there that you can dial into, but BBSs really aren't a huge thing anymore. I guess it wouldn't really be the same. The type of file system is FAT. Okay, so now I guess it's going to convert it to NTFS. So, goodness only knows how long that's going to take. You can't read that. I need a better capture card. This capture card is limited to 320 by 240 video. I'm sure it looks like garbage. It's all stretched. Yeah, BBSs. And remember those old school text-based forums that, it used to just be like a bunch of links? Oh, those, yeah. I don't really want those to come back, though. Those were kind of ridiculous. And once the forums started getting large, then they really didn't work that well. I think there are still a few that are around. Hopefully y'all know what I mean with it. Alright, so yeah, we're going to need drivers. The hard drive that's in this now is a 1.3 gigabyte Toshiba drive. So I guess it matches better than the IBM TravelStar did. I think it's going to want me to insert the CD-ROM again, which I'm just going to do. I had the good old days before Flash Player. Although Flash has been around a lot longer than you might think. Or, I guess had been. It's gone now. But it had been around for a while. Before YouTube. YouTube is just the thing that really made it take off. Because that's really the only use for Flash Player was for internet-enabled video content. Flash games are a thing, or were a thing. Setup is initializing. It's taking a long time to initialize. I had to move the mouse. I do not have display stretching turned on. I should mention that. I generally leave it off on the Toshibas. Gathering information about your computer. Listen to that hard drive thrash. That sounds like a Toshiba to me. I miss that too. I don't miss the spindle motor sound. I don't miss that at all. Some of the older ones are kind of cool, but I really don't miss the noise. Especially the later ones, the loud ree that they tended to make when the bearings went bad. It's probably going to want a product key. Oops. Yeah, it wants a CD key. Give me just a moment. Alright, I guess it must have accidentally went into lock mode. That was kind of concerning for a little bit. But we're back with the CD key entered. Didn't take that long. Computer name. Alright, password. Totally not hack me. Please don't hack me. Alright. So, accessibility options, I don't need. Accessories. Probably don't need the character map or the clipboard viewer. I do want the desktop wallpapers. I'm configuring this mostly for like a desktop as opposed to a workstation, which is what it's really not meant for. We'll leave the imaging on. We'll put on the mouse pointers. I don't need the object packager. Probably, what is quick view? I don't think I need that. I'll leave it on there. Why not? Everything else should be good. Communications. That's all enabled. Chat. Allows you to converse with other Windows NT users. I'll leave that on. Phone dialer. I don't need that. The games, we'll put those in. Multimedia. We'll install all of it. Windows messaging, I don't need that. Alright. Next. Now we're going to install. This computer will participate on a network. It is wired to the network. Let's hit search. There we go. 3Com Etherlink 3. Next. TCP IP, I don't need anything else. We'll go for that. We'll hit next. I think that's all okay. If I remember right, the default values were good. So, there is DHCP, yes. With any luck, everything will just work. So far, it's been a mostly painless process. Kind of surprising, really. Usually this kind of stuff does not work at all. And I gotta swear at it in order to get it to work. Not the case here. Alright, show bindings. I don't think I need to change any of them. Is it working? Yeah, it is. Alright. That's good. Finishing setup. Here we go. Okay, well, it's not Greenwich Mean Time. That's a thing. Eastern Time. Automatically adjust the clock. The date and time is wrong anyway. Okay. I'll have to install the driver. Okay. It's really cool to see that. Blinking LEDs. See the optical drive down there. There's no built-in floppy drive on this machine. It's an external job. I don't know if mine's broken or what, but it would not read that one floppy. Maybe the floppy drive is... The floppy disk is no good. That's possible. It has one hard drive. The light on the left is for the hard drive. The light on the right is, I guess it's for both the floppy and the CD-ROM. It's for the external stuff. Configuring to run Windows NT. What other lights does this have on it? Looks like it's got 2 battery lights. I guess you could install a secondary battery or something. Alright, remove disks from drives. Choose restart. Don't mind if I do. Oh, I'm going to install the service packs too. It's only running Service Pack 1. We'll start with the drivers. Shouldn't need that disk anymore. Alright, Control-Alt-Delete to log on. Obviously, I'll change the password later. Time or date is invalid. No, really? Thinks it's 1990. At like 1:30 in the morning. So close out of that. What? Okay, here we go. Oh, look at all the Flash Player installers. Okay. What do I want? P702 VidN. Should be the video driver. Neomagic display driver for NT4. Yes. Extract to cvideo.nt4. That's a manual install, I remember that. I believe this is the audio driver. T8K. Oh, did it do it on its own? It must have. Yeah, audio.nt4. So the video driver I'm going to have to install manually. Display type, change. You made it to 10 likes. Yeah! Alright. Now watch, it'll go down after I said something like that. Have disk. Beep. Well, it's trying to read the floppy that doesn't exist. I should have just typed it in. That would have been faster and better. Well, that's annoying. Can you work, please? Wow, that's terrible. Oh, man. I'm going to turn off this Pentium 4 down here that I was using to make the floppy disk earlier. It doesn't need to be powered up. All it's doing is making it hot in here. Can you work, please? Cancel. Video.nt4. Open. Okay. Neomagic. Magic Media 256AV. Proceed. And it'll want me to reboot. So we'll do that. I'll reject that disk. I will reboot. Actually, before I do that, so this is the OPL3 driver. I'm going to install it too while I'm at it. I might as well. So that's multimedia, devices, unlisted or updated driver, C, audio.mt4, OPL3 SA US English. Well, I hope all that's correct. Don't really have much of a choice. And we should be able to reboot now. So I'll do, oh, no, I still need that. What am I doing? I'm going to have to install Service Pack 6. So here we go. Should have a video and an audio driver. With any luck, both of them will work. An hour and a half to do a Windows NT installation. That's not bad. Including drivers and all that. That really isn't that bad. The only problem with these older versions of Windows... Yeah, I do have the high color. It's not in the resolution. It's still at 640 by 480. I just need to change that. That's doing something. Do we have audio now? Yes. Date and time is invalid. Yeah, sure, whatever. Shut up. Alright. So this, I believe, is a 1024 by 768 panel. Let's test it. Yep, 1024 by 768. Latitude C series. Have I used one? Yes. Do I have one? No. I did see the test bitmap properly. So we hit apply. And now we're good. So now we've got our full display resolution back. Now, here we go. With Windows NT Service Pack 6. So, what are you going to do with this? Well, I'm going to put it on a shelf and forget about it for months. That's probably what's going to end up happening. When I have it around, because it's an interesting thing to have. I think it's the only NT4. No, that's not true. I got other NT4 machines, but I like to have one of pretty much everything at least kicking around. So this will be my NT4 machine. The problem is that it's not the most reliable thing in the world, because it's got what I presume are bad solder joints. So it just kind of sits around and does nothing. But it's cool to take it out every once in a while, play around with it, and use it. Just for nostalgia reasons. The good old days of computing. Something to have. Something to play with. Something to do, really. A project to work on. Not much else. It's not like it's worth anything. It's just another generic... Well, okay, I can't say generic. It's Toshiba. It's a brand name. But it's just another one of those late 90s laptops that are ubiquitous. The scary thing is that they're now skyrocketing in value, because I guess they're now starting to get rare because they've all been recycled in our mandatory electronics recycling world, which I hate. Reuse is so much better for the environment. But people don't reuse things. Ew, it's old. So, go figure. Really not a surprise. Alright, NT4 service pack. Alright. Backup files necessary to uninstall this service pack at a later time. I obviously accept the license agreement that I read carefully. Backup files. Well, you only live once, so let's not do it. I don't really plan on uninstalling it at any point anyway. So I think the next thing I'm going to work on after this stream, I'm just really talking to myself right now, plans, because by the time that you actually see those videos, it'll have been months from now, more than likely. Just because of the insane backlog. Like I said, I think I've mentioned it several times, I'm trying to filter some of the new content in with the old stuff. Sometimes it works better than others. I'm also trying to keep some of the newer stuff held back, so that way there's new stuff later on, but I don't know. I really don't even know what the general plan is. Uploads are just kind of happening whenever. Nothing's in chronological order anymore, just because it's so backlogged that it's hard to tell what chronological order is. There's so many videos. So many videos. I've thought about posting something in classifieds saying, hey, you got electronic waste. Give it to me. I'll take it for free. Reuse it and dispose of whatever's not reusable responsibly, but I don't know. I don't want crap building up around here. And that's what I presume all I'd get is just crap. People would rather sell their valuable stuff. For insane prices. That's usually what I see. People thinking that their Pentium 4 from 2006 is worth a couple $100, when the reality is that it's probably worth exactly nothing. Because let's face it, it's a Pentium 4. I don't think you can even run Windows 10 on a Pentium 4. I don't think that's possible. You can run 7 on a Pentium 4. I've done that. You can run 7 on a Celeron. I've done that too. Oh, and that's not even the right mouse. I just freaked out. I thought the encoding computer locked up. But not the case. My arm is in the way. My lovely arm. Would you just love to look at my arm? Alright. That'll probably get all the weirdos out in full force. Oh well. You could probably run 10 on the later Cedar Mill ones, but they will certainly not work on the Willamette or the earlier ones. I don't think they have the necessary instructions. I don't think you can even run Windows 8 on those. Alright. So I don't need this anymore, I don't think. So we'll just reboot. I don't think I finished my thought about NT service packs. The problem with them is that... I don't know why I just lowered the display resolution. That's weird. But if you choose to install anything new off of the CD, or you change the operating system in any way, you have to reinstall the service packs. Which is seriously annoying. Windows XP, I think, was the first one to change that. Maybe it was Windows 2000. I think it might have been Windows 2000 was the first one that would change that. I don't know if you can even run Windows 10 on a Prescott. I should look that up. Oops, that's not right. Let's see. No, I guess you can run it on a Prescott. So Prescott, Cedar Mill. The limitation with Prescott is that you can only run the 32-bit version, not 64. I don't know why. That seems like a weird limitation, but... should be pretty much it for this. Just a hair over an hour and 30 minutes. Went much better than the last stream did. I'd love to sit around and talk all day, but I can't do that. I've got things to do. Places to go, computers to fix. I just wanted to get this done before I forgot about it. And so I could get the hard drive that's laying around out and into something where it would be useful. But I gotta start running updates on machines so I can get them backed up. The monthly hard drive images, too. Those need to be done. Did you know the shutdown command on the start menu enables you to safely shut down your old computer? Your old computer? Your computer. I'm not sure where old computer came from. Good to know. Good to know. Although I guess that's a new thing, because older versions of Windows didn't do that. It's like Windows 3.1 style. Windows NT 3.1, 3.5, and 3.51 were all pretty much the same in that regard. So I want to change my desktop background. I want to set it back the way it was. So set the screensaver, that's the first thing to do. 3D Maze. Well, 3D Windows doesn't show up on the 3D Windows. Oh, what am I doing? Flying Windows. Alright, let's see. Maze overlay. Let's change it to some colorful stuff. Let's do that. I imagine this probably runs like crap. Oh, it actually doesn't run too bad. That's neat. I like the maze overlay. It's fun to see that. Guess it's kind of distracting. There's a rat in front of us. I never did... I guess it's just random crap to demonstrate the OpenGL compatibility of a system. The AI is pretty weak sauce on it, though. Alright. Mesmerizing. Now, let's see. It's the bubbles background. Soap bubbles. There we go. So that's set up exactly the way that it was before. I don't have any of the software installed. I think I had Netscape. But, does the internet work out of the box, or do I need to do some playing around with that? It should just work. Which it does. Look at that. Not very well, obviously, because CSS is not supported in Internet Explorer, whatever this is. 2.0, I think. Yeah, IE 2.0. Ah, the world. It was a different time. I wonder if my site will load. I know it will. Assuming that nothing is busted, which it probably is. Yeah. See if it'll actually work. Alright, yeah, there we go. It kind of loads. I mean, obviously, this browser doesn't support images. It's a really, really, really old browser. Oh, it does support images. Some of them work. But some of them don't. That's odd. Show picture. Well, anyway, it doesn't matter. I think that's pretty much it. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. If you watched the archive, like I was saying, the archives will be unlisted from here on out. There's a playlist that they're in. You can check out the channel, find the playlist. It should be somewhere near the top. It's titled live stream, so it should be pretty easy to find. Ding yourself. And yeah, I don't think there's anything else that I need to do. I think we're pretty well done here. Maybe I'll experiment with the chat feature in a video at some point. Might be kind of neat. And yes, I'll change the password. Do that as soon as I shut the broadcast off. And that's it.